We grow a lot of soybeans in Iowa, but we don't often think about eating them. Jake Gratzen and his business partner, Matt Massaros, love food, and they were looking to create a fresh and local product. They saw an opportunity in this overlooked resource and started a business, Old Capitol Food Company, in Iowa City.
Tofu is kind of a mystery to a lot of people, and I get asked that question a lot. Why tofu? Tofu is something that is made from soybeans, yet Iowans know very little about. For us, it was quite simple. We thought with just being fresh and with the location to soybeans and the expertise in soybeans that is in this state, that we'd be able to create a fantastic product.
The process of making tofu is based on the same principles used in making cheese. The work begins the night before by soaking the soybeans.
When the day starts, we'll weigh out the batch of beans for the first batch, grind those up, and that becomes soy slurry. That soy slurry at first has a thick consistency, kind of like hummus or sour cream, kind of a thick. We thin that out in the kettle, bring that to a boil. We then put that soy slurry through the extraction, which is kind of like a depulping. It takes out the fibers and the hulls of the bean to leave us with a smooth soy milk. That soy milk is actually what's going to become the tofu. And so then whoever's doing the curding, the tofu making for the day, will use magnesium chloride, which is a sea salt derivative, to create a curd and a whey. That curd, after 30 minutes, becomes set and is broken up. The more you break it, the more whey you get and the tighter the curds are. That breaking phase is actually what defines the firmness of the tofu, more so than the next phase, which is the pressing phase. Those curds will then be put into a basket with a cloth liner, and the curds will be pressed or reformed into a large block of tofu. That tofu then gets put into the cooling tank to be cooled for the packer to come and divvy it up.
There are two main types of tofu, silken and regular. Silken tofu is not pressed, so it has a high water content and a custardy texture. It works well in creamy and blended foods like smoothies, spreads, and sauces. Regular tofu varies in its firmness by how much water is pressed out. It can be sliced or crumbled, and it holds its shape when it's cooked.
In the West, we want our tofu to be meat or a replacement for meat. In Eastern cultures, the tofu is softer because they want something to be firmer, they have meat. If they want something to be a softer, more refreshing protein, they choose tofu. So a part of being in here and making tofu here is catering a little bit to those ideals of the West. So we make our tofu firmer, a little bit denser, so it holds up better.
Tofu has a mild flavor of its own, so it can take on whatever flavors it's paired with. It's a very versatile ingredient, and it's not limited to Asian dishes.
I like to eat tofu in Italian dishes. So I like to use some Italian herbs and spices. Any ethnicity or culture can work its way in there. And when you have good tofu, the tofu is not going to fight against your flavors.
Even if you've been turned off by tofu before, perhaps it's worth a second chance. Your taste buds might just find a new, protein-filled satisfaction.